Starting?
Recording.
Okay, great.
My volume's off.
Well, I would like to call to order the Planning and Zoning and Historic Commission meeting of Thursday, May 4th, 2023. It is 6 p.m. Could I have the roll, Franco?
Commissioner Feck,
Here.
Commissioner Kruger,
Here.
Commissioner Stenick,
Yes.
Commissioner Scarpelli is absent, Chair Brunner,
Here.
Commissioner Reyes-Braher,
Here.
and Commissioner Myers is absent.
Okay, great. So on to our first order of business, which will be the approval of the minutes from the April 6, 2023 meeting. Could I have a motion to approve?
I approve
I
it.
think Frank had some
Yes.
addendums to it. I would move to approve them with the mentioned addendums.
Okay, so I will read through those. I have them printed out here. So there is a motion on the table to approve the meetings from the April 6, 2023 meeting, adjusting the wording regarding the presence of Brunner, Kruger, and Scarpelli being present and Brahar arriving at 6:01. The current read suggests that only Stenick and Scarpelli were present and Brunner, Kruger, and Brahar arrived at 6:01, which is not possible. So we should be updating that to say we were all there and Brahar arrived at 6:01. Second, on the meetings of 4-6, meeting approval minutes of number 2, it recognizes the 223 meetings, but 223 minutes, then states approval for the November 23rd, 2022 minutes. So that's just a single line change on a date.
Noted.
Fantastic. So do I have a second on the motion to approve the amended minutes?
I second.
We have a motion and a second.
Feck,
Oh, yes.
Kruger,
Yes.
Stenick,
Yes.
Brunner,
Yes.
and Reyes-Braher.
Yes.
Okay, passes. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to comment on agenda or non-agenda items? There is no one in the
I don't
audience.
see any hands up.
Yeah. Did we receive any email or anything?
Nothing.
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 Okay. We have no new business. So then,
And to note, not to interrupt, I did email all the businesses again
okay, about the noise ordinance. And-
about today's meeting.
Yes.
I did see
Yes.
that.
Okay, and then no new business, so then on to the other business. I don't think we need a motion to even to kick
Nope,
these off.
no motions
No.
needed here, only when you guys make your recommendations to the board.
Yeah.
Which I'm hoping to get today.
Okay, so the first one on live entertainment, continued discussion. So Franco, I see you made some updates to your memo. Would you like to summarize some of the changes since our last meeting that were made?
Sure. So, in the allowable uses table,
Page N.
I'm, after the minutes,
Okay.
first memo,
Yeah.
keep going back. Yeah, right behind that page.
Yeah, right.
Yep. The allowable uses table. This was kind of modified to match what the PZHC discussed last month.
Mm-hmm.
And in the body of the memo, I included an existing restaurant definition that was found in our code. So at least we know what a restaurant is that you could point your finger to.
Mm-hmm.
In the allowable uses table, we also have taverns are permitted, but we didn't have a definition for that, just like we didn't have a definition of what live entertainment was. So staff compiled these definitions from a mixture of different towns, most notably Palatine's. And this is what we thought was pretty good and pretty solid to work around, but it's something you guys can alter and craft to make it our own if you desire. So with that, back to the allowable uses table, you could see that the restaurant, no live entertainment is permitted, and the row below is restaurant with live entertainment. The special use was added to the B4. And then brew pubs and taverns, rows below, were added as special uses with live entertainment for your consideration. And one other amendment is a restaurant with a drive-in or drive-through under the B1, which is the second column on this table, did not have anything. It was empty. And we do have a business in the downtown with a drive-in or drive-through. So,
Dairy Queen.
Yeah.
correct. So consider it making them special uses, so you could make it a case-by-case basis and understand the parking and the.
Yeah, I would actually say, yeah, if a new business was coming in there, we wouldn't want to drive through there, because it is actually
It may
quite
not
the
even
hazard.
be, it may not even be possible.
You know,
to
right.
fit.
Yeah.
You know, it is, I mean, I think the people who go there know to be careful,
Oh, yeah.
but,
Oh, a Dairy Queen you're talking
yeah,
about?
pulling out when you're pulling out from Dairy
Yes,
Queen.
you have to be very careful in and out.
Yeah,
Should
so I,
really be a ride out only.
yeah,
Yeah, it should be.
yeah, right.
You know.
That's
Or
the
walk
state.
there.
Yeah, exactly, I walk there.
Me too.
And one last modification is restaurant with live entertainment. I crossed out the P for permitted use in the B4 and made it a special use to match what the other B1, B2, B3 is, just so we're all on the same.
Okay.
Just kind of makes sense. Think about the live entertainment definition and think about, going back to last meeting, if you want to make it only outdoor live entertainment as a special use.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, that seems to make more sense.
Okay.
You know, if they have an outdoor venue, then if they put in for a permit for it, then the police are aware
Mhm.
what's going
So
on.
you mean in versus inside?
Yeah, versus
Because it's
inside.
closed and we're not gonna hear it.
You're not going to hear it.
Right,
Theoretically,
right.
you're
Sure.
hearing it.
Yeah.
but in the definition, live entertainment shall not include subtle ambient or incidental background music provided for guests or patrons.
Yeah.
That's not included as live entertainment.
Right, I think,
Correct.
and I would say, looking at this and how we've kind of restructured it, this is really a lot about cleaning up our definitions,
Right.
trying to have our tables match what we're actually doing,
Right.
right? I don't think, we don't have a lot of noise coverage here, but it does make it, I think, in line with what we're doing.
Simplifies it.
Yeah.
And the noise ordinance is always existing and they should always
Yeah,
abide by
Right,
the
it
noise
should
ordinance.
always be.
Okay.
consistent.
Unless it's one of a special event, like say Rosie's last year wanted to close off the street and have
Right,
a live
right.
band. Well, that requires village board approval now. Or
Yeah.
Right.
Aliano's Italian Fest where they want to close off the
Same
street,
thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
village board approval.
Okay, so I'm really good with this, being, the focus of this really like tightening up this table, getting our definitions in there.
Being specific.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's, I think that's good. I think if we want to talk specifically about noise, as that was, I think, was one of the reasons we were tasked to look at this in the first place, right? I would like to talk about the stuff that I brought.
Oh, sure.
Additionally,
Bef-
but before we go to that,
Yeah.
let's keep talking. Yeah.
Yeah, I
let's
just
talk about
want to,
this.
so just asking for guidance on your recommendation to the village board. You do want to add no outdoor live entertainment or with outdoor live entertainment as part of the allowable use table. So basically under brew pub, under restaurants, and under tavern, where it's highlighted, bolded, and double underlined, you want me to add the word outdoor before live entertainment as a special use.
I will say before we decide, just as a
Okay.
counterpoint, one of the reasons I think we're adding live entertainment here, because we're talking about like land use as part of this, is to make sure if they do have live entertainment like outside, it's in a safe, way that's convenient for their neighbors, not causing obstructions. There's not trip hazards. They have enough room to accommodate it. And I think if you look at it that way, there could still be some desire to have it on the inside too. Like they can't just like set up wherever they want, if it's like if their place can't really accommodate it. That'd be the only reason I would say about live indoor live inside music would be to just for us to say it's actually a safe place.
Yeah, less about noise, more about safety.
Yeah.
It's kind of why I didn't put outdoor on it, because I wanted you guys to have this conversation, because if it's a bar that's going to have a DJ on the inside and make dancing available, do you still want to have this review come before you and then go to the village board as a special use? I think yes, to kind of have conditions set to kind of make it successful for them and their neighbors and for the village. If you don't have that, then if you just put outdoor live entertainment, then it sounds like, when I read it, anything could go on the inside as long as we keep it down.
Right.
As long as
Yeah.
you
And
accommodate your neighbors.
And I don't know how this would impact it, but let's say, for example, you bring in a big band into a small place,
Yeah.
like the Rosie's.
Right.
They have like a fire code occupancy limit.
Yep.
But if you like fill it up
Mhm.
with a whole bunch of places where the people can't go? Can you have the full
Yeah.
Yeah.
people in the
That's a good
tiny,
point.
the much more compressed space now?
Right.
Which I don't think you should.
Right, there's existing fire codes that they have to abide by.
Yeah.
But this will help guide them to that. That in the special use, that they have to make sure they're complying with the fire district's codes.
Based on the- yes.
Based on their application, on their business plan, on what they wanna have going forward.
Yeah.
There's also, a restaurant that we were made aware of off of 25 that has a live band at times
Yeah.
playing in a small area that distracts its neighbors.
Where is that at?
I believe
Is
it
that down
was,
by Gates?
no, up
Maybe.
north, northeast corner. Fairly new restaurant. So it kind
Oh,
of,
where the old Wags was in
I
there?
think it's called La Mariscara.
Oh, oh, yeah, okay.
They had a
Oh,
live
where
band
the,
there.
it like a little, I think there was like a Subway and a burrito.
Next to Royals now.
Okay.
So there
Oh, so
was,
they
there
opened-
was, there
opened up
was
again.
some complaints that it was way too loud.
Oh, really? Just the neighbors, the,
Royals was saying it's too loud.
oh, I see, it's going in.
And
their
La
business.
Marisca's live band,
Right.
so at least, it's a civil matter now, because they're not being loud outside, but they're being loud inside.
Inside, yeah. Well, that can be addressed. by
So if you have this live
Business
entertainment as a special use, if a business wants to come before you and have this part of their business model, which is nice to have,
Yeah.
but they should follow some conditions that
Right.
you recommend to the village board, and the village board ultimately
Right.
decides on to make it successful for that restaurant and their neighbors.
Yeah, I think what is key when we get to the talking about the noise is that there has to be something, I think, a little more significant than our current calling in and, you getting a whatever,
Yeah.
$70 ticket or
Yeah.
whatever it is. Here, I think when we're talking about special use, if they violate the condition of their special use, then their special use could be voided.
It could go before the village board.
And that could be voided, and then if they continue doing it, it would be like a zoning violation, right?
Mhm.
Be whatever our penalty, do you know what our penalties are for
I
like?
don't know offhand.
Like, it would be more or less you're operating an
Yeah.
illegal business, which should be a big
Yeah,
enough deterrent, right?
Yeah.
I would hope.
yeah, you would hope.
Right. I mean,
Yeah,
as with
not
us,
just
us having to do like a lawsuit to
Yeah.
evict
$50
them.
fine or
No, I
something
mean,
like
there
that.
would be a fine, and they have the right to due process through the adjudication process. The tickets would be village ordinance tickets, so that it won't go through the county, it would go through the village
Yeah.
up here in a hearing in here to the adjudicator.
Cool.
So,
So I think I would lean more, if you could, in the notes, add some details about how we had this discussion, so that the
In the
village
minutes?
board, yeah, in the minutes.
Okay.
I mean, it'll be like, well, what would happen is when we actually go to give our recommendation to the board, right, you're gonna have a memo that the board will read. And we can say, like, we chose to leave it out, there was discussion on it, you could put it in.
yeah.
If we left it out, if we decide to leave it out, we would say we're leaving it out for this reason. If we
Yeah.
decide to put it in, we can say we're putting it in for what reason, but I think some context.
Some context and the rationale of why you're leaving out outdoor
Yes.
before the words live entertainment is to further protect the vitality of the businesses.
Yes, it's the indoor safety.
Okay, so at this point, we're just talking about something we already have set in place. We're just specifying certain protocol on it, that's all. So in other words, all the bars who have music now still have music outside, correct?
Yeah, we're
Okay.
not,
You're not taking anything away from them?
no,
Okay.
we're just,
Then I'm cool,
yeah.
because I love them all.
And I think when the board talked about it the last time,
Yeah.
they said like, if we did something like this that said our existing businesses needed to get a special use,
Yeah.
we would like waive the fees.
Yeah,
you
because
know.
I don't think
Yeah.
that's
You
fair,
know,
because they've been here
it's-
forever.
Right.
And they bring us money,
Yeah.
and I love I love music, so.
Yeah, I don't think the village would make them go through a bunch of hoops.
Okay, then I'm cool.
Yeah, but we do have to make them come into compliance with it. So
Okay.
if the village board does pass this ordinance, then you can expect about 10 or so businesses coming before for a special use. But it would have to be so, it can't be blanketed, right? The attorney said you can't have a blanket ordinance, it has to be one by one. But staff would ask it to be just, the PZHC consider their existing business model and allow that to be.
An extra,
What do you mean?
like, so Alianos is having a special venue, so that's extra.
Yeah, they're starting like Italian Fest?
Yeah.
Yeah, that would
So
be a
that's
special
extra. So
thing.
in other words, whoever's having something like Rosie's who cuts off that street, or Vanity Barnes who cuts up their street, that's special. That's a special use you're talking.
Well, that's a special event. The special use is, so this is a thing that we can grant to businesses. You know, each business has like the primary mode in which they operate. We're saying in
Right.
this chart,
A
the
band.
restaurants.
A band,
Well, yeah, well, the primary mode is like, of a bar is being like a tavern or a restaurant.
right?
So they can then additionally apply for the special use to have live entertainment,
Yeah.
which all of our bars
Have
have
it now,
right
so
now.
that's what I'm asking.
But yeah, so by adding that special use, which would be, they can do it whenever they want once they have it.
Okay, that's why I'm making
Yeah.
sure they don't have to come in here and pay extra or do something extra.
No, they'll do it like the,
So it's written in the
yeah.
specifics.
They'll have to come in, and he's what Franco's saying is they'll have to come in and they'll have to apply, and we'll have to grant it, but it'll
Once.
be more
And
like
then-
a token thing.
Okay.
As
To
a-
get them into compliance.
them into
And
compliance.
staff would recommend that it would model their existing business model as to not be burdensome, because it's not their fault.
Yeah, right.
Essentially grandfather in most of their
Yes.
practices because.
That's what I want to
Yes.
know.
Yes,
Okay,
yes,
because I don't want anybody to come
yes.
after me.
But then the new businesses after this will have to go,
Do a,
you know, they would have to prove to us that they're gonna be a responsible business
Gotcha.
in town, right?
Okay.
If
Sure.
business
That
XYZ
makes
shuts
sense.
down on the corner and a new owner with a new liquor license wants to open up
Yeah,
business
Oh, I
ABC in its place,
yeah.
because the village board passes the ordinance from your recommendation that says restaurant with live entertainment is a special use in the B1, they now have to come for a special use application process.
gotcha.
Yeah,
And then
Okay.
like that person, or those people, those business owners, you can make your craft your new conditions.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's to make sure.
A
Yes.
screened wall, a
Nobody's-
sound barrier, something that blocks amplification, you know, that sort of stuff.
No, the only one I
Yeah.
know that is Vanity Barney's. That's the only one that's got that brick wall. That's it.
yeah. So, yeah, I think,
I will list your rationale as to why you left it out.
yeah, yeah, okay. And then I think everything else on there is nice and tightened up. And with the special use, right, once they have it until it's a transfer of ownership
Yeah.
or,
Mhm.
and because it's not going with the land, we changed
Correct.
that, which is a good,
Last year,
it's a good thing.
yeah. Yeah, it should be that way.
Yeah, okay. So, okay, then the next thing that I wanted to talk about in regards to this angle is, you know, I was doing some more research on like how we would maybe want to, if we didn't want to go full special use for everybody, for all live music, for all people who might have, or even outdoor noise. I found an example as another way of looking at this that Houston has adopted. We just adopted it this last fall. And the idea is that, here, and I'll let you guys, if you want to take a look at these two things, we can pass them around. It's a little bit about their noise ordinance. But what they've added is this concept of requiring a permit if you want to exceed like baseline levels of noise. So even like for residents, if you want to go above the baseline because you're having a party or you're doing construction that's outside of the bounds, you could get like a day permit or something. They also then have the concept for any commercial business that's having like outdoor amplification. So this would be a business with outdoor speakers or outdoor live music. Pretty much anything that you put outside that is amplifying sound, they need to have a permit. But it's a year permit that you pay, kind of like your liquor license, to be able to do this. It lets you then go up to these more extreme levels. Now, if they violate that, then there can be penalties for it. That is, you know, we could lay out very specific to this type of use and noise violation. So, what do you guys think about this in general? I read up a bit on it. I can talk about it.
So is this sort of like when you're talking about special permit we have for Elianos?
Yeah, this would be more in line with one of those. Like would want to get one of these for when they had their special event.
So we would just charge them more? I mean,
Well, this is a lot of money. I wouldn't charge them that much money. But the idea would be, is by tying it to something like this, you could have a penalty if they didn't have it, right?
Oh, okay.
And then you could, you know, fine them or whatever to try to get them into compliance. Right now, with the way that we're approaching it with special uses, it will be like how Franco and I were just talking. We would have to go after them for like zoning violations,
Yeah.
as opposed to like fining them for noise. You know, and I don't know if our special uses would ever incorporate, you get voided if you have so many noise violations,
Good.
you know. But that would be the other angle that we'd have to go, I would think.
So this is giving them more of an option, like, you know you're going to be this loud, pull this permit out.
Yeah, and you can get it for a year,
Uh-huh.
you know, so all of our bands, like they have a liquor license, would have this more or less, you know, license that lets them, you know, have this louder music and fit into the, you know, category. I think that the mindset of it, or the thought process behind it is, as soon as you put speakers outside of your establishment, you're way more likely to exceed the noise ordinance.
sure.
You know, and this kind of covers then any type of outdoor.
But this wouldn't really help the neighbors much.
Well, they have in theirs. Did you see the residential thing that they put in theirs? I mean, we could do something like that.
I don't know, I love music, so you're
Yeah.
talking to the wrong person.
Yeah, they said like anything within 300 feet of the, you know, of a residential business could have, you know, more restrictions. We could say like anything touching a residential, any business touching a residential zoned area should have different restrictions.
There's a lot here.
Yeah, there is. It's a tricky thing. So, I know you may be like, gosh, you're just complicating this whole thing, but it's,
No, because if Alianos wants to have amplified music event like that, we do have a special event
Right,
Yeah, yeah.
that
Right,
they have to go through.
right.
The only thing that comes to my mind is something like this, would be maybe like a special event opened up to residents that
Mhm.
want to have a backyard party that's going to
Yeah.
be loud,
Yeah,
and
maybe.
quality,
Yeah, definitely.
be until 1 a.m. They could get a
Right.
$10 permit. We could give the PD and the fire department a heads up, but it would require them to make notifications and a signature,
yeah.
at least attempt a signature from your neighbors, just saying, hey, heads up,
Yeah.
on XYZ date, I'm going to have my birthday party, and
Yeah.
it's going to be loud until 1. Are you guys
It's like
cool
when
with it?
It's like when they have the block parties down
Yeah.
the
Block
street.
party,
They
right.
get a permit,
Yeah.
and then they have music in the street. It's
Yeah,
not-
we already
I-
have
it's
a
everywhere.
block party. We already have a block party permit because you're closing off the streets. You gotta
Right,
let
right.
the police and fire.
And there's music.
Yeah, and you gotta let your neighbors know. But, you know, being here 1 year, I've already gotten 2 calls asking
Really?
about, I'm gonna have a
Yeah.
private party in my backyard this summer. Do I need any permits? You know, and we said, no, you just have to abide by the noise ordinances and the parking regulations and be mindful of your neighbors.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that happened to me last year. Like, I didn't know, I was having an outdoor party for over 100 people, and I didn't know if there was any noise ordinances
Okay.
that I had to. But I don't think I spoke to. Maybe I did. It was in
Yeah.
August.
Okay, that's probably me.
So that's why I was just wondering,
Okay.
because you never know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Last thing I want is
Yeah.
Yeah. you don't
police
want to-
officer.
Are you in East Dundee?
Yeah, uh-huh.
You are? So when the border cuts off after,
Right by the school.
I know, that school's in East Dundee, I thought it was Carpentersville.
Oh no, that school's in Carpenters.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, but
Jagged
I'm
lines.
So I thought you were in East, that's why I thought you were in Carpentersville.
Oh no,
'Cause you're right there.
East Dundee.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
Just
it's that, I
checking.
guess, that dark
Yeah,
green
kinda
part of it.
Yeah. You're like cut off.
I'm in the, I forgot
Yeah.
what it's called, estates.
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I think to be on our commission, you have to be in East Dundee.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, I didn't know she,
No.
I mean, I didn't know.
Yeah, you do have to be a
You
resident.
went to my house.
I
Do
know,
you-
but I mean, I thought you were Carpentersville anyway.
Does PZHC want me to look more into this about private parties, or is it something more of the amplification?
I'm more into it right now with the, I went this way because of the amplification and
Right.
having a way for us to do some enforcement that was more than just a noise ordinance violation, because I don't think, that hasn't been working really well for us. And,
How much is the fine for a noise ordinance?
I don't have
violation?
those
Yeah.
fines.
Yeah, it's probably pretty
memorized.
minimal. huh?
Yeah.
$50. or
And
something.
I don't want to speak for the police department, but usually the first time they go there, it's just a verbal warning.
Yeah, it's a warning.
I
So-
think it should be more commercial, because
Yeah.
residential, I know that one of my neighbors had a huge party and it went on for I don't know how long.
Yeah.
And I was trying to go to sleep, but then when it hit that time, they were respectful and they turned
Yeah.
it down.
Mm.
And they were like maybe half
Yeah.
a mile away, but I could still hear it. But I think commercial is probably more.
yeah, and that's the thing, like, right now, if you violate the noise ordinance, as far as I can tell, that just means you can just pay the fines. you know, it's not gonna ever get worse than that.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and it's
You
not
know,
a big
and
enough
the
fee,
fines
that you just
aren't-
go, whatever.
Yeah, you know,
Yeah.
so,
Why don't
It's worth it.
Need to review
why don't we
the-
amend the fines
Yeah,
escalation?
review the fines.
yeah, so that could be another angle on how to do it.
Escalated.
I think-
It's a repeat. Do we have repeat
First time
offenders?
something
Yeah.
minor, second time.
What's interesting about the permit, or if we tied that into the special use for it, would be, you could, you know, you could revoke their ability to do it.
Yeah. You could in special use.
Yeah, so if that's like a thing that we have, as not that we would want to,
I hope
that
not.
we very, very sparingly
Yeah.
ever use that, but it's,
Right.
you know, there's actually some teeth to it, right? You know, here's the fines, and, you know, if someone is just not being respectful.
I think if, you know, we review the table for the noise fines, that could be a starting point.
I agree.
And then,
Yeah.
going forward with new, if the board passes the special use for live entertainment, going forward, you could put, the PZHC could put as a condition, must abide by the noise ordinances. If problems continue,
Yeah.
the village board has the right to revoke your special use.
Right,
Yeah.
I agree.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. So these types, so that'd be a nice, just like, let's say blanket form,
Mhm.
you know.
Blanket language when it comes
Blanket
to
language.
restaurants
Yes.
with live entertainment.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I wrote that
I
down.
like that.
okay, cool.
Just a deterrent.
Well, I think that was very productive.
Yes, and I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks.
Nice.
So I feel better than with what we're gonna be giving back to the, you know, the intention of the initial request. We at least have something in line
It's a
there.
good find, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, they just passed that thing in Houston in, I think September, this last September, so. Yeah, so you can just look it up if you want on there. I did print out the whole ordinance about it, but, yeah, it's all DBA, just like we were talking about, and, you know, saying and hours and when you can, you know, it's pretty cool. It seems like they really thought it out well.
Sometimes some parties could go on all through the night.
Yeah,
Yeah, like quinceañeras.
Yeah, at what point do you break it up, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing, and if you're
But
a,
it's always when you gotta be at work the next one.
yeah.
Yes.
Now, I know in their thing, if you were a resident and you like totally violated the noise thing and you did it like twice in a year, you'd get banned,
Right.
like for a year, so you wouldn't be able to have any parties for a year.
And, you know,
We don't want to.
Yeah.
you know, again, I don't want to
Like
speak for the
parties.
police
Yeah.
department, but I believe the sergeant or the chief has the authority to end
A party?
a
Yeah.
party.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
they
yeah.
can.
It's gonna
Yeah,
be
they
I
can.
would
So if it gets out of control, if they see
Yeah.
You
illegal
can say, yeah,
activity,
you're done.
safety,
It's
how
They
safety
have
at
that,
that
yeah,
point.
Yeah.
there's,
so there's always that.
mhm,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Good.
cool.
Thank you.
Okay, so then on to the, okay, do you want to make
Yeah.
a motion to have a suggestion then on this? I think,
I would
That's what
need
you're looking
a
for.
motion for accepting the allowable use table and definitions as presented by staff to recommend to the village board, and motion to have staff review the noise fine table or fee table and craft up blanket language for live entertainment special uses in the future.
yes. Okay, so could I have a motion to recommend approval, or recommend, or to officially recommend to the board the included table, its special use table and its amendments, as well as the definitions, and also the blanket language and review fine table for
That's a
the
lot,
live
yes.
music. Yeah.
So moved.
Okay.
Yeah.
And a second.
I'll second.
Okay.
Okay, Commissioner Feck,
Yes.
Kruger,
Yes.
Stenick,
Yes.
Brunner,
Yes.
Reyes Braher.
Yes.
I'm gonna need one more motion too. A motion to have the existing businesses that are restaurants with live entertainment to come into compliance with should the village board pass the ordinance via the special use process. With an understanding of the existing business models.
Does somebody want to say this one instead of me?
So in other words, they're coming in and they're just doing what they have always been
Yes.
doing?
Yes, but, you know, of course, the village board at the time can always make any type of condition that they want. Not gonna speak for the village board, but that, keep that in the back of your head, that's always something they can do.
Yes. So may I have a motion to present a recommendation to the board that we provide a process to allow existing businesses that are offering live music an easy path to compliance?
I motion that.
And so I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Fantastic.
Commissioner Feck,
Yes.
Kruger,
Yes?
Stenick,
Yes.
Brunner,
Yes.
Razbraher.
Yes.
Did we
And-
vote on the other one?
On which one?
The one that we made right before that?
Yes.
Mhm.
Okay,
We
good.
did.
Yes. So there was two motions on that
Yes.
discussion.
Okay, so then the next item is the banquet facilities continued discussion. You added an additional definition, or what? I didn't immediately detect the
Sure.
change in this one.
Sure. I think I added the existing business hall definition. That's
Yeah.
already in section 116, which is the alcoholic beverages chapter. And what I
Okay.
did add was the banquet hall in B1, B2, B3, B4 as a special use. And Erica asked the PZHC to not consider it an M1, M2.
Yeah, I mean, so on this one, I'll read in, Frank had existing comments on this, or had comments to add on this one. One, that the banquet hall should be a little more generally defined. You didn't change the existing banquet hall definition, that's what we have.
Right.
So, does everyone have that definition in front of them? You guys feel good with that definition? Frank's suggestion was it's a little too, in trying to be descriptive, may actually not cover all the things we may want to cover as a banquet hall. Because here, you could argue that where there is service for, like if you didn't have tables, there's a lot of these things where if it was just like, let's say, a banquet hall where you just had to get together to just talk, that wouldn't.
You mean like appetizers on the side
I
and things
guess.
on the side and no
I mean,
tables?
yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the way Frank had it listed was just, yeah.
You
they
could
were-
strike at tables and put of food.
Yeah. Or, I mean, if if we wanted to say where there, as a saying where there is, where there may be, right? I mean, because all this is trying to do, I think, is add color to what we're doing, right?
Yeah.
A gathering of people coming together to
I think
celebrate.
the key thing is it's a private prearranged event.
Okay.
Place catering a private prearranged event. It's not a walk-in.
Right.
Yeah.
This is very key. It's not a walk-in
Right.
type of place, right? But other than that,
Private parties with alcoholic liquor.
yeah, like,
I mean, to me, it kind of makes sense. I mean, if you want to strike at tables,
Yeah. The fact that there's tables doesn't matter. It's that it's a private
Yeah.
event that there may or
It
may
doesn't
not
matter.
be food and drink at.
Right.
yes. It's because you do say may, you say with alcohol is may. Yeah, I think if we could have the service, the food service be may, get rid of the tables, so you could have a place that just does drinks
Mhm.
and has no food, right?
Yeah.
so where there may be service for food consumption of a full, at prearranged fixed unit price.
That's also an interesting restriction. I mean,
Can include,
yeah.
the following.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's better.
Okay. I think that
Just adding those words makes it a little bit more flexible.
yeah.
Okay.
That's better.
Yeah, so, and obviously if somebody else wants to reword that, but that's the intention, is we want that to be more general than it presently is. And like in your suggestion there, I think might be the best way to get there. Now, as for like it being in the M districts, Frank definitely felt his opinion is that our M districts aren't true M districts, and they're different than they were before in terms of heavy industry.
The M's are to the east.
Yeah, it's
on
the
zoning
yellow,
map.
right?
It's the gray.
Oh, the gray, I'm
Oh,
sorry.
it's the gray portion?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Old industrial areas.
The gray and the dark gray.
So the argument for not having it there, just in general, is, we want there to be synergy between businesses of like type. I think in this case, you could have, we don't want, for example, the people at the banquet hall complaining that, the rock crushing next to them is too loud. Things like that. I mean, because of the neighboring businesses are much more, heavy. There are some that are heavy industry. It's our gravel parking lots and, the CCBD stuff that we've been hearing. That's the type of things that are over there. And yeah, and just loud truck noise.
Are there any businesses there that want to open a banquet facility? I mean, has there been?
There's been
There's
talks.
been inquiry,
There's been
yes.
talks of one.
Oh, really? Just
Yes.
in the industrial park back
Mhm.
here?
Yes.
I think in the future, there may be more opportunity for things like that for banquet halls, but I think that's when they
Yeah.
go in for permit, they would probably have to change the district for the
Yeah,
area
I
or
think,
something.
yeah, and I know, so, okay, here, I'm on
It'll
the,
change.
this is commercial, right? Yeah, okay, that's the auto services right on the road, okay.
Because I know they're building something new here.
Yeah,
Coffee
Yeah.
shops and
Yeah.
yeah,
car
yeah.
washes.
Yeah, they started. So I know we heard from some of the the developer that owns a bunch of the land there that they were thinking of putting in a hotel, which a banquet hall would go
Yeah, well, definitely.
with that, but that would require a rezoning at that
Right.
point, right?
What kind of a hotel had interest there? Any?
At the meeting, it was discussed as they may operate it. He wasn't sure if he was going to operate it or not.
So
That
it's not
hadn't been
like a
decided.
national brand.
No, he was going to build it.
Okay.
So it's my understanding with a lot of those hotels, right, there's, it's like a franchise
Yeah,
thing.
someone else is
Mhm.
operating it.
Yeah, the owner is different than the,
Yeah.
the company operating.
Yeah.
So they're, but I think in that case, we would say it needs to be rezoned,
Mhm.
Okay.
right? I mean,
Yeah,
so
we have to.
for a hotel, it would have to be
For
rezoned there.
business, like-
Yeah, I don't know where the hotels can be allowed right now. I don't
Yeah.
know if they're in the M's or not.
Yeah, if a hotel could be in an M, I would think a banquet hall could be in it,
Mhm.
personally. Because, I mean, a hotel could have a banquet hall in it.
Yep.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah.
I mean, that's a common thing, or,
Yeah.
what you could call this almost as being a banquet hall,
Right.
large conference room that
Yeah.
Yeah.
provide food,
Right, right.
So,
So we don't think about that now, right?
I would like a recommendation.
yeah,
About what?
The M1 having banquets.
Well, no, I mean,
Wherever you guys
it's
decide.
not gonna happen now.
well, but they're going to, so we have someone who's looking into doing it.
Okay.
If we say they can't do it, they can't even apply.
Oh, I see what you're saying, okay.
If we say they can do it, and we recommend that they can, and we add it to the table that it's allowed, then they will likely apply.
Lodging,
with that.
lodging, hotel, including apartment, hotel, dining
Oh,
room,
gee,
and
that's
meeting room is
permitted.
permitted in M1 and M2.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
then,
I'm cool.
I actually then don't see why we can't have a banquet.
Yeah,
hall if
exactly.
we're letting hotels
Okay.
and hotels and clubs and lodges. And look at all the stuff that's allowed in there, yeah.
Yeah.
A lot.
You have a greenhouse and a nursery, restaurants. You know,
And any hotel is likely gonna have some thing that
Conference
will fall
rooms
under,
or-
yeah,
yeah,
or something, even if
banquets
it's,
or
even if
something.
it's small and they're not providing the food and beverage, it's still a.
I mean, that,
Yeah.
yeah, but M1 is
It's pretty robust.
just about everything, so.
That's fine. So do you guys want to recommend that banquet halls are special use in the B1, B2, B3, B4, M1, M2?
That's correct.
Yeah,
Yes,
I think
that's
so.
fine.
Okay. Okay.
I mean, and I think the kind of the clincher for me is all the other stuff that seems similar.
Yeah, I don't really see a downside to it. I mean, who would be complaining about
Yeah.
It-
anything.
banquet
well,
facility in the?
Yeah, the only, if I had to make an argument, it would be, you know, in your manufacturing district, let's say we wanted to build a robust manufacturing district, we could feel that a business like that would be disruptive from this, you know,
Yeah.
this like group of common-minded businesses that will be getting together in that area. You know, it's the same reason why we want to kind of combine our bars and combine, you know, you want, you know, things to play
Some
off
Yeah,
of each
just
other,
cohesive.
you know? And this makes that less likely to achieve, you know? It's also going to be perhaps a different like lot size than the other things around it, you know, just because the parameters of the use make it all different.
Yeah, I don't really see any of the existing businesses being bothered
Right.
out there. but-
No, I don't think so. It'd be more like, do we see any reason on the village why it would be harder for us with them being there than in another district, right? Is it harder for us to provide the services that we need to because they have different needs than their neighbors?
Mhm.
You know, that would be, these are the types of things to consider, but, you know, we're getting, you know, out there. And maybe this would be the other way of looking at it. We are only looking at it because of our kind of singular M1 district. So we're thinking of a very specific place. But when we make this rule, it's covering all future M1s, wherever they may be.
Right.
You know, which maybe there's a place where we really wouldn't want. We want it all to be. But yeah, M1 actually looks.
It's
I mean, I'd be curious to see some of the differences between it and some of the Bs because.
Yeah, I think it would be by square footage, and I don't think there would be many places in town where an M1 or M2 could fit.
I see.
Right.
So that's like there's a minimum square footage for
Yeah,
one
yeah,
property.
yeah.
Yeah, that's really about the only area. I don't see it springing up anywhere else.
No.
Yeah, well, I know we're all boxed in.
Unless,
Yeah.
you know, you annex properties near there.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know how much property we have left around us to do in regards to annexation.
Never know.
Never know.
Never know.
Another municipality donate land to us.
You never know.
Things change.
Yeah. Okay, so I think that was the only thing that we really needed to discuss about that
Yeah.
point, right?
Yeah, and I would say your motion would be to amend the definition of the banquet hall in chapter 116 with
Yes.
that language, and to include banquet halls as an S special use in B1, B2, B3, B4, M1, M2 zoning districts.
So could I have a motion to amend the definition of a banquet hall to include more inclusive language, allowing both the presence or not presence of food and alcohol, as well as the update to the use table to allow for special use of banquet halls in B1, B2, B3, B4, and M1
And M2.
and M2.
I so move.
Okay. Got a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Got a second?
Okay. Commissioner Feck,
Yes.
Kruger,
Yes.
Stenick,
Yes.
Runner,
Yes.
and Reyes-Brauer.
Yes.
Fantastic. Okay, with our two items in our other business concluded, we can move on to adjournment. Do I have?
Actually, so with the if the village board passes a ordinance similar to live entertainment, gallery, you know what? No, it's a village board approved, so there wouldn't be a.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's technically a village board approval for gallery 611. So it would be in compliance, so strike that thought.
Okay,
Okay.
no problem.
Yes.
That's up on 72? Yeah.
Yeah.
So that lady was at the last
Yes.
meeting?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
So,
I motion to adjourn.
motion to adjourn.
I will
And a second.
Second was Reyes Broder. Okay, voice vote.
Aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, motion carries. Let me turn off the recorder.